Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Charlie Pankey, Sierra Rig Now podcast. We thank you for joining us today and being back with us. We hope the Sierra is within your view and is in your plans in the near future. We're pleased to have you here today. I got a quick question for you. Are you ready for summer? Are you ready to get out in the mountains and enjoy something really fun, majestic? Maybe take a dip in one of these cool lakes. Well, today we're going to take you north on our show today, and we're going to be talking about Lassen Volcanic National Park, which is one of my favorite parks to go join, as well as the Lake Almanor area, which is filled with lakes and lots of trails and different things to do. And I'm super excited because our guest today, Sharon Roberts, is the owner of the beloved St. Bernard Lodge that we stay at often when we go up there. It's a fantastic place for me to recharge and just kind of use as a base camp to all my exploring when I go up north. So, Sharon, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Charlie. Glad to be here.
Have you here. After a long winter, you're open and the doors are going. How things going in up north so far this year?
We're going good. I have people staying right now that are still skiing at the park. But
you guys get a lot of snow this last week?
We did. So we probably got 5 or 6 inches here. A couple of days ago, it's melted off, and the park probably got 8 or 10 inches. Kind of wet snow, so it's not the best skiing. But if you still want to ski, come see Lassen.
Diehards love Lassen backcountry skiing. I know that for a fact. So very good. Well, maybe that's a good way of sharing the start of the show here. Sharon is kind of help readers or listeners know where you're located at and what the lodge is like if they haven't experienced St. Bernard. Maybe you want to take a moment to introduce the lodge real quick, and then we'll get into some of our fun adventures up there.
Sure. We're right off of Highway 36. 10 miles west of Chester and about 15 miles from the southwest entrance of Lassen Park. So we're an ideal location to visit the park, but still been close to get into Chester for supplies and or visit Lake Almanor if you want to do some lake activities.
Absolutely, all the fishing activities. And you guys have golf courses in the area as well. And then you're pretty close to the PCT, correct?
We're 1.4 miles from the PCT, and we're just past the halfway point when you're traveling north, and almost to the halfway point when you're traveling south.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
So we're actually getting guests and hikers that are hiking both directions. Still northbound's number one, but it's amazing the number of people that are hiking southbound.
Oh, that's interesting to know. That's a fun step. When my wife and I stayed there last year, you had a PCT hiker staying in the lodge the same day. It was fun to catch up and get some stories from them. That was really cool. So, and how many rooms do you have in the lodge?
We have 7 rooms. They're all upstairs. Each of the rooms has their own sink, and they're all decorated differently. And then it is shared bathrooms. You have to walk down the hall to use the bathroom, but it is private once you're there. Absolutely. And then we have a great area in the downstairs for dining and the bar and tavern just to sit back and relax. And we got cribbage and dominoes and different games to play. So,
yeah, it's a fun, relaxing joint. They also have you have a back patio for outdoors, so the warm weather you can sit outdoors. You get the pond, and one of my favorites, you get the frogs in the evening in your pond. So you get that nice, starry night to sit on the patio and then hear the frogs, which is really cool. So
we do have great dark skies here, and right from the property you can walk to the back, get away from the building, and just sit on a picnic table and watch the stars.
That's fantastic. Well, great. I know personal from experience, we love staying at St. Bernard's Lodge. It's so comfortable. It's a nice place to just kick back, relax. But really for me, since I'm so into the outdoors and going all the time, it's just been a perfect base camp. Like, it's centrally located. I can go in lots of different directions. So I know that's a great thing. So one of the things I wanted to share with readers today, and I'm really excited to have you here, is that my first time you and I met, it's got to be almost 10 years ago, 7 years ago. And you had me up at the lodge, and all I remember is sitting there having a conversation with all the different things in Northern California that I didn't know how close I was to or how cool they'd be. And I thought today would be really interesting to kind of let you share some of the hot, some of the hot takes on what are the best things to do if you're staying up in your area for recreation. Like, what are your top recommendations?
Well, top recommendation is to visit Lassen Park and to plan on at least 2 full days. People think they can see the park in a day. And if you want to get out and hike at all, you can't.
I've made that mistake.
Bumpass Hill and Lassen Peak are the two iconic hikes. They're both nice, but Brokaw is one people don't know about, and people that have hiked both Brokaw and Lassen Peak all prefer Brokaw. It's a little bit longer, but you get more variety, and you'll cross some streams and different vegetation, where Lassen Peak is kind of just straight up the peak.
Straight up the peak, right?
Bumpass Hill is the largest geothermal area west of Yellowstone. But in the southwest corner, you have Devil's Kitchen and Boiling Springs Lake, which are both interesting and probably a little bit easier walk than going to Bumpass Hill, and not near as crowded. So if you want to avoid the crowds and still see geothermal, I would recommend hitting the southwest corner.
Southwest corner, okay. And then the northwest corner, that's where the Butte is, like Butte Lake and
Butte Lake. Cinder Cone's one of a kind of a hike. You're going to actually just walk around up the cone, and you can actually walk down into the volcano a little bit. But that is a tough hike.
That's the toughest hike in North California, in my opinion.
It's like walking through sand dunes. It's walking through the cinders. You're all out in the sun, so you want to do it early morning or late afternoon. You do not want to plan that one in the middle of the day. It is 7 miles of dirt road to get out there, so not everybody, feels like they want to drive that 7 miles. But
that's a beautiful drive, though. It's a nice forested area of the park. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's too long of a drive. And last year, I know when we went in August, the road was still in great condition. So
yeah, it's really flat. So it's a good road. Passenger cars have no problems. And then close to Cinder Cone is Subway Caves. That's actually in the Lassen National Forest. So it's about a third of a mile lava tube. You need a flashlight or the light on your cell phone. So that's a nice walk to do after you've done Cinder Cone, and
Absolutely.
It's cool.
Nice and cool, exactly.
And then for the ones that are very, very energetic, you can do Cinder Cone and then backtrack and do Prospect Peak, which I have not done Prospect Peak.
Oh, I haven't either.
But it's higher than Cinder Cone, and then you can look down from Prospect Peak down on Cinder Cone. So
well, there you go.
That's a full day to do those two hikes.
Okay, I haven't done that one, so I'll have to look into that one myself. Yeah. So that's pretty good. I know that one of my favorite places in Lassen is just to go spend time at Lake Helen. It's such a pretty blue water, so we would just pack up lunch and have a picnic there by the lake as we're driving through. And then generally we hike the Bumpass Hill, come back, sit at the lake is what we do. Yeah. But that's
probably in another 4 or 5 weeks, Lake Helen will be. My favorite is when there's still a little bit of snow and it's melting, and you get rings of this most beautiful aqua blue that I've never seen anywhere else. So once they open the road and the snow hasn't totally melted, that's an amazing sight to see.
Yeah, there's a certain type of mineral in that water. It's just it is one of the prettiest blues I've ever seen myself. All the lakes I've walked around in the Sierra as a whole. So. And so when you have guests come to town, and we consider, I consider St. Bernard a base camp, right? So when you got 12 miles to the southern entrance of Lassen Volcanic National Park, and then right below out of the park, there's a river that crosses the highway, and there's this beautiful meadow area. Is there a special name that you know what I'm talking about? There's like a ranch there with a meadow and a river that crosses the highway. Just before you start heading uphill.
On 32 or you're going to, between us and the park, you're going to pass Child's Meadow.
That beautiful area. That
is beautiful.
Areas, yeah. And then that creek goes into the park, if I'm not mistaken, comes off the mountain and goes back towards the park that way. So, that's random. It's just one of my favorite spots to stop on the way up. So, And I know I've been there with you, and every time I go up there, it seems like I'm snowshoeing. Snowshoeing Lassen's one of my favorite things to do. So snowshoeing is probably something people can still do up there.
You can still snowshoe. Currently, right now, the road, they have it plowed on the south side up to Sulphur Works. You can't drive, but you can walk, and then you can snowshoe or ski from there. On the north side, the road's plowed into the devastated area, but they have some downed trees. So it's still not open for cars. But I just had a guest last week ride his bike into devastated area and then hike up and ski down the backside of Lassen. So
yeah, it's a pretty area. So obviously you and I talked about this a little bit in the Dixie Fire was such a large event that affected your guys' area greatly. And now that's been what, 4 years now since the Dixie Fire. Is it 4?
3 years.
3 years. So maybe this would be a good opportunity to talk about how the area's recovering, what people can expect to see now when they come up in the area, because I know people think it's all burnt, right? And so and things aren't open, but the reality is there's a lot of stuff open and it's starting to recover up there, correct?
We are recovering. You're between the lodge and driving into town to Chester. You're going to see a lot of burnt trees, and for the ones of us that live here, it's kind of a sad sight. But you get views of the lake that we didn't have, and then you also have views of the mountains on the north side of Chester, which was all trees, so we didn't see that. Yeah. So you have to see the beauty within the ugliness of the burnt trees. But even though it did burn a lot, it's interesting to see how it zigged in and out, and you're still going to find lots of forest, and a lot of the forest is untouched.
Absolutely.
So
that was the one thing I noticed when I was in Lassen last year, because I was kind of interested too. But driving through Lassen, I saw meadows that I'd never seen before because the trees were all there. You couldn't see back into the mountains. But now, you stand just above Sulphur Works and pull off. There's meadows all throughout the hillsides. These beautiful grassy meadows out there that you never saw before. And now I want to walk out there. It's like, oh, now I got to go hike those meadows because there's going to be some beautiful areas in the park, right? So
so a good hike from there. Have you done Ridge Lakes yet?
I have not. No.
All right. So that's right from the parking lot of Sulphur Works, and you hike up and there's a lake. So that's one of it's 1,000-foot incline in a short distance. So it's a steep hike, but the wildflowers will be there, and that lake's very pretty to see, and you'll have good views. And actually from part of that trail, you can look down behind Sulphur Works, and there's little mud pots and stuff that you can see from the trail that you can't see from the highway. Way back when, there used to be a boardwalk that took you back there, but there was so much activity they just couldn't maintain the boardwalk, so they've just stopped. So
Gotcha. Well, while we're on Lassen here real quick here, again, I think if you haven't been to Lassen Volcanic National Park, and it's actually one of the least visited parks in the state, it's definitely worth checking out. You were mentioned just before our call, they have a new superintendent, and they've changed some of the payment plans at the gates. You want to go ahead and share some details that you know?
Right. So, I have not met the new superintendent. She starts this month, Roseanne Worley. So I'm looking forward to meeting her. And just so people know, the park instituted policy last year that they do not accept cash for entrance fees or permits. So you need to pay with credit card, debit card, or if you have some phone app. And then the neat thing that Lassen's done is they've combined with Whiskey Town, Lava Beds, Crater Lake, and you can get a park pass that is good for all those parks. So instead of paying, it's less than the full annual park pass.
Yep.
And not much more than the individual entrance. And we are on a nice circuit to go see the Lava Beds, Crater Lake, Whiskey Town, and or the Redwoods. It would be nice if Redwood National Park was part of that, but it's not.
Absolutely. I was just going to ask you about that. What's that scenic route called? There's a name to the circle that you're talking about there.
There is a name to that circle.
There is a name to it. I should have known that. What we're talking about on Sharon's lodge is right on a scenic route. And there's a scenic route that takes you to Lassen, takes you to the California Redwoods up north, it takes you all to Crater Lake and comes back down to Lava Beds. Or vice versa, however you want to do that. So
I forget what they call that, but we are also on the Volcanic Scenic Byway, which goes through Lassen, Chester, Lava Beds, and Crater Lake. So
So that one, the byway
That
doesn't include the
one I
bike way,
know,
so.
but the other one's some kind of ring, and they made a name up for it, and I don't remember
Yeah,
the name.
okay. It was a tourist name of some sort, but
Yeah.
great. Well, hey, let's flip to the other side of your resort. So we got Lassen, and there's so many things you can do from Lassen on a day trip. But Lake Almanor is there also, and several other fishing lakes in the area. What can you tell guests about some of your favorite things about living in Lake Almanor, or things that guests really enjoy about
Well,
in the area?
if you want to do something different than hiking, Lake Almanor is a great day to spend a day, and there are boat rentals available both on the West Shore, Major's Outpost, and then Knotty Pines on the peninsula have boat rentals. And you can rent jet skis, fishing boats, jet boats, whatever you want.
Guided wakeboard, there's guided wakeboard services, fishing services, all etc. So
yeah, so
yeah,
it is a fun lake. The water temperature in the summer is pretty good, so for swimming. It's not real deep. Fishing, it's a very good lake for fishing. We actually have the BAM Pro Bass Tournament coming up here first weekend in June. So
exactly, yeah.
That should be exciting.
They have the smallmouth bass fishing on the lake. All the professionals come to town. That's gonna be a good time. You have the Loggers Jamboree going on that weekend as well, correct?
There is a logging jamboree going on, and this will be the third year for that. That's on Saturday the 1st in Chester Park. And it's a small event, but it's fun. And this year they're adding an event that businesses or just local people can join for the axe throwing contest. So you can compete against, so.
Wear your hard hat. You ever been to those axe throwing things? That's a little harder than it looks.
Yeah, and the target on this is kind of cool. It's a full beer can, so you get, instead of just having to be in the center of the target, you have to crack that beer can to be right on.
Hey, that sounds really good. Great time to be in Lake Almanor. You guys up there in the region, I know you guys do a chili cook-off that we've been to. You got this fishing event coming up. Anything else in the summer that guests kind of need to be aware of in the area that's just kind of fun, family-oriented events?
Well, there's a mile-high bike ride Father's Day weekend. This is like the 41st year. So, and there's 3 different lengths that you can choose. And it goes, for the longest length goes around Lake Almanor. So it's really beautiful.
Oh, wow. Okay.
4th of July, there's always lots to do here. We have fun run, parade, craft fair, fireworks right in Chester and Lake Almanor. Taylorsville has a silver buckle rodeo. It's like in their 75th year.
Okay.
And then right after 4th of July, so I think it's July 5th and 6th, is Paul Bunyan Festival in Westwood, which is another logging event, probably bigger than what we do here in Chester, which would be really fun to go to.
That's fun. So, if people aren't familiar with that corner of Northern California, listening, Lake Almanor obviously is one of the largest bodies of water in California. It's a big lake. But this is traditionally a logging community, and then also it's the Mayu. Did I say that right? The Mayu Indians?
Maidu Indians.
Maidu Indians, the Maidu Indian culture. So kind of a rich history of that also just south of you is Highway 70 and the railroad communities and the railroad history. You told me about the quilt barn history in the area. I've done that once and did the quilt barn tour in the area. Maybe if you share some of those type of different tourist activities that people get used to going up to that region for? I mean, is that
you can if you really don't want to go out and hike, I mean, we have more to offer than hiking, even though that's what most of my guests do. Is we have some great museums and nice back roads to drive between the museums. So museums open up here in May. So if you're a history buff, there's quite a bit to see, and each one is different and very interesting. Bike riding, Mount Huff for mountain bikers, and that's more based in Quincy, is becoming nationally recognized. We have lots of back roads to ride your bike. And there is a 12-mile paved recreation trail right along west shore of Lake Almanor. So you can ride a bike, visit, see the lake, watch eagle and osprey catch fish out of the lake, which is always an amazing sight to see.
Really cool.
And the Feather River Canyon is special, and that's actually a scenic byway along Highway 70. This year, there's something special happening for the train buffs. There's a steam train that's coming from the Midwest out here, and they will be stopping at the Portola Train Museum and then end up down in Roseville. So that'll be, I'm trying to find out the details. It'll be early July that they come through the area.
That would be
so
really cool.
Any train buffs, check with the Western Pacific Railroad Museum in Portola, and they'll have details.
There you go. There's that inside tip I was looking for right there. That'd be a unique event. That's kind of like the guys that do the Pony Express ride through our area here in the Carson Valley. So that's a really cool event. So you brought up hiking. I know you said most of your guests do hiking there. We've talked about Lassen Volcanic National Park. If people want to go hiking in Lassen National Forest, so in that region, and maybe head towards the lake, what other hidden trails or things should they know are in the area for hiking?
Well, the PCT's right here, and you can hike it in either direction. If you hike it south, you'll go up to the top of Carter Mountain or Butt Mountain, and then you can look down on my lodge. And so that's a day hike. If you actually drive to Domingo Springs Campground, which is southwest part of Lassen Park, and that's in the Lassen National Forest, you can hike about 7 miles into Drakesbad and pass Boiling Springs Lake and then do the other hikes. It's also, I have people that'll stay with me with their horses and then trailer to that point and ride in and out. Unfortunately, Drakesbad will still be closed this year, not taking guests through the fire.
Yep.
But that's still really a nice trail.
Yeah. Because it goes out into some meadows and stuff too, right? So that's got the grasses and bushes would have recovered in there. So that'd be really pretty. Are there trails on the other side of Lake Almanor that go, or trails that go off of Lake Almanor up in the hills there? Down. Familiar?
Not really.
I don't know this. I haven't looked on my map.
Not really. So Hamilton Branch, in that corner somewhere, there are some caves, and I would have to look up, if you were here and you are interested in caving, I can look up directions. I can't tell you right off the top of my head.
Gotcha.
And then there were some ice caves not far from us by Wilson Lake. That area did get devastated from the fire, so I haven't been up there to see what they look, if it's worth going to or not.
How about the Caribou Wilderness? That's right there next to Lassen on the east side, correct?
Yes. So Caribou Wilderness has Silver Lake and has some good hiking and horseback riding. And that's just, it's not far. It's, 35, 40 minutes from me. It's just far enough. I don't get time to visit that area too much.
Right. Being a business owner yourself, getting out and hiking is a little harder.
And then there's the Biz Johnson Trail. It's a 25-mile trail between Westwood and Susanville.
Yeah.
And you can bike it or hike it in the summertime. In the wintertime, great for snowshoeing. Mm-hmm. In the fall, they do a fall bike ride. BLM organizes a bike ride if you want to ride with a group of people. Lassen Transit offers bus shuttles. So if you started at one point, then you can take the Lassen Transit back to another point, so you don't have to ride it round trip.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know that. So yeah, the Biz Johnson Trail, that's a pretty popular trail, very scenic, part of the National Scenic Trail.
Very scenic along Susan River, and has gorgeous fall colors in the fall.
Awesome. I never thought about talking about fall colors here. We're here in May having this conversation, but your guys' region of Plumas County is one of California's bright spots for fall colors, correct?
Yes. Fall's probably my favorite season up here. The weather's nice. Everything's still open. All the trails are open. And then we start getting fall colors, and then you know that you're going to get into winter. So you just really appreciate the days in September and October.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Just before the winter strike. So now circling back to the lodge then for your guests and guests that are interested now in coming up and explore an area. Anything guests need to know for summer reservations or spring reservations right now for the lodge for you guys? Oh,
We're open for reservations. I only have a few weekends that are totally booked. So, I mean, I have availability still for Memorial Weekend.
that's great.
And the way July 4th, usually I'm booked full for the 4th, but the way it's falling, I'm not booked full. So if you can leave on the Thursday and stay for the 4th, 5th, 6th, you get 4th of July events and then that Westwood Paul Bunyan Festival,
There
which
you go.
usually they overlap a little bit. So it spreads it out.
Summer vacation plans are available right now. I definitely highly recommend that if you're wanting to head north. Sharon's Place is a great place. It's again centrally located. It's just kind of this perfect base camp. Last year, if I remember right, I came back home and there was cookies on my bed. I enjoyed that. So, but
Good.
you guys have great home cooked meals. It's breakfast and dinner, correct, for guests?
Breakfast is included in our room rate. And
Okay.
then dinner is available. You have to pre-order that a day ahead of time, but we do dinner just for guests staying here.
Good. And then you have the open bar for guests in the
Oh,
evening.
open.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool. Very good. So it's a really cool bar. You guys have actually one of the old cash registers in Northern California up there. Do you not still? Do you have an
We
old cash
do.
register? Yeah. How old is that?
We
Can't
have
remember how old that was.
Well, if this was built in the 20s, I'm going to say it's probably close to 100 years old. I don't have documentation on that. If you're out driving through Indian Valley, Young's Market's a fun place to stop.
Yep.
And they have a gorgeous cash register, and I like all the shelving around it. And they use theirs for all their business, and it's over 104 years old, and they actually have that registered.
Fantastic.
So
I just remember that from staying there at the bar and going, that's pretty cool. And I haven't been to the one that you're talking about there in Indian Valley. I know where it's at, but I haven't stopped by yet. So
it's
cool.
worth a stop.
Yep. That's one of my favorite things about staying at St. Bernard's. And when I met Sharon, just to share the guest, I guess 7-8 years ago now, is she's like having a Chamber of Commerce person there. So just sitting, hey, I want to do this today. She knows where to go, places to be. It's always nice to stay someplace where the owner or the person hosting you knows a little bit about the area. So as you're exploring Northern California, you're considering, hey, how do I discover more about Lassen, or how do I discover more about Lake Almanor? I highly recommend St. Bernard's Lodge. And in full disclosure, she is one of my business partners, and we've been doing business for years, and I love staying with Sharon. But Sharon, we're at the end of our show. I always ask my guests three questions. They're all the same 3 questions, and so I'm gonna ask these questions. I didn't preempt you on this, so hopefully this will go okay. But the first question, okay, I know you work, but you're full time. But let's say your bag is packed and you're going to go hiking today or this weekend in your area, or it could be anywhere else in the Sierra. Where do you want to go explore today?
Actually, there's a hike that I haven't done out in Indian Valley up to some old silver mines. And so I've researched that. I have someone that's going to hike with me when the weather clears up a little bit. So that's a new spot. There'll be some old buildings left, I've been told. And I don't have a name for that hike. That's okay. One I haven't done.
How far is the Indian Valley from your resort?
Indian Valley is about 30 minutes.
30 minutes, yep. That's what
yep.
So
there's
all right, question number 2. When you get out and go hiking or when you're on the trail, do you have a favorite trail snack or food that you take with you?
I take grapes or oranges with me.
Fruit?
So they're easy to pack. You don't have to worry about, a smashed sandwich or something. And then for our guests, actually, we serve really big breakfast. So if you don't eat all your omelet, I give you a baggie and you can take half your omelet and have that on the trail.
That's a good choice. I eat all my omelet when I'm there, so very good. And then finally, is there a piece of gear that when you go outdoors and do recreation, that you never leave home without?
No, I never planned that well ahead.
Okay.
So
Fair enough. Fair enough. Anyway, hopefully you're not caught out late at night or something like that, right?
that's
uh,
true. And
Very
that's
good.
one of the things we didn't talk about. Our night skies are amazing.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
Lassen Park does ranger-led activities starting Memorial Weekend through Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
And so every day of the week at 2:00, they'll either have a talk or some kind of guided hike, and you'll have to
Mm-hmm.
visit the visitor center to find details. They do night sky viewing, usually either right at the Southwest Visitor Center or Bumpass Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm hoping, they haven't scheduled it yet, but they do a night sky festival in August.
In
It used
August.
to be a week-long event. Now it's down to 3 days when they do it. And it is scheduled to happen again this year. They just haven't posted any details. And they have
Absolutely.
NASA, some astronomers from Reno come in. And one of the things they have up there that I've never had time to go see is they have a special telescope to view the sun during the day.
Oh,
And
really?
that just sounds amazing to see that.
That would be really
Yeah.
cool. I didn't know that. Didn't know they had the ear. I know that they're registered as one of the dark skies of Northern California. It's definitely a place to go watch stars pop out. Just like I said, sitting in your own place, even with the floodlights out back, the stars are amazing. Just because the light filter out there is so little for as pollution and stuff. So very good, Sharon. I want to thank you so. Go ahead.
I've been here 25 years, so the skies are amazing, and I see them. And unfortunately, some of the really cool stuff happens between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning in the wintertime when it's a little cold to go out and see that.
It's a little cold.
People that live in the city and don't get to see the night sky, it's amazing.
Absolutely. When you come out of the city and go into the mountains for the first time in a nighttime, the amount of light you get to see from stars is something that you'll never forget. I always tell people that. Even where I live now here in northern Nevada, if I just go 10 minutes out of town, it's like, wow, the sky can change so much. Just getting 10 minutes out of the city, and you guys are up in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it feels like sometimes, so right? So very good. Sharon, I will look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. I'll be up there again enjoying the bass tournament and the Loggers Jamboree, and looking forward to bringing you guys more of our own personal visits to Lassen, which is, again, one of our favorite parks to discover. And we always stay at St. Bernard's Lodge and enjoy it as base camp. So, Sharon, I look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. Thank you for joining me today. And
thank you. I will see you in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. Sounds great. Have a wonderful day. And if for our fans there, we hope to see her is in your future soon. We have our summer issue coming out May 23rd of the magazine. Please join us in reading that and sharing it with your friends. We hope you enjoy it. We'll have a full array of spending the weekend at Lake Almanor. We'll have some top 50 hiking trails for the summer, and plenty of things for you to explore around this year. Other than that, have a great day, and I hope to see you in your future.